जैसा डॉक्टर व्यास ने कहा था, I was talking about the community resilience in agriculture sector, because basically I've been involved with the communities in the rural communities and the farming sector in the context of food systems, food security, and water security. इको है, अगर आप काइंडली अपना माइक. Okay. As I have already discussed, 2020 was claimed to be one of the hottest year, but the close competitor is 2016, and this is happening in the span of the 5 years, and there are very high possibilities that कि जी इस किस्म के जो hottest years हैं वो हम आने वाले सालों में भी frequently देखते रहेंगे, and this is telling us the how rapidly climate is taking its path. If we discuss it in the context of the food systems, we have to see what is happening around the globe. मैं आपके सामने कुछ ये we have already seen these maps again and again, but just to make these things fresh in our minds. There are 3 maps in front of you. One is the climate risk index map, other is the drought index map, and third is the flood index map. And we can see very clearly that unfortunately Pakistan is in the high rankings of all these vulnerabilities. So this also shows that we are very, although the globe, it is a global issue, but it is more severe for us. So we have to think innovatively. We have to think ahead of other nations. When we talk about the 2020, there is another event that took place, and we have जिसने हमारे लिए set किया the path. There was an election in USA, and 2 top contestants were contesting on the notion of climate change. One of their key contesting जो उनका point था, that was climate change. And unfortunately, one of the competitor was saying that it's a myth. Climate change is a myth. And he also the saddest part is that he was a winner in more than 20 states of the USA. So I was thinking, if this is the state of situation of the people thinking in USA, where we say that the literacy rate is very high, and people they do care about their environment, वहाँ पे अगर ये situation है, तो फिर what will be happening in the developing countries or underdeveloped parts? But the sense that climate is changing is more prevalent in our societies, but unfortunately वो सिर्फ हमारी जो सारी थिंकिंग है, वो सिर्फ सेंस हमारी उसकी इंफॉर्मेशन तक ही महदूद है, बिकॉज वी आर फेसिंग दीज इवेंट्स डे आफ्टर डे, एंड वी नीड टू convert these apprehensions into a system where we can come out of these dangers of adversities of climate change successfully. If we talk about in terms of food security perspective, we know that food security has 3 pillars, जिसमें हम accessibility को कहते हैं, availability को कहते हैं, utilization है और access है. And I am presenting a few of the facts that climate change is affecting all these pillars. If we talk about the accessibility, we can see very clearly that obviously accessibility depends on the price, and climate change is affecting prices adversely in terms of the accessibility. ये देखें कि जी सारी मेजर जो क्रॉप्स हम if we can see, this is one of the FAO statistics that by the year 2030, by only the factor of the climate change, prices would increase more than 75% in almost all the cases. So this is very alarming that if all other factors kept constant, only the effect of climate change would increase the prices in a way that it would go, that the accessibility of the masses, poor masses, would become difficult to the healthy food. Same is the case with the availability. We can see two graphs. One is the in two bars in different time periods. One is in the green shades and other in the orange shades. So what these graphs are depicting actually, this is the impact of the scenario analysis in terms of different climate changing scenarios and their impact on the crop yields. So if we see the first the part of the graph, that is from 2010 to 2019, we see that the positive impacts of the climate change and the adverse impact of the climate change, they are almost equal. But if we see the end of this graph, from 2090 to 2100, the last decade of the century, we can very visibly see that the adversities have been very much higher than the positive impacts. So if this is the case, जो कि हमारे different scenarios हमें बता रहे हैं, so availability of the food will also be a problem by the end of this century. Then this is the utilization. It is also very interesting. We are comparing two situations. One is the high income country and other is the low and middle income countries. We can see that the diversity of the food in the high income countries is better than the low and middle income countries. They have their diverse diets, and the climate change is not affecting this diversity. On the other hand, if we see the low and middle income countries, the end part of this picture shows that the climate change is actually affecting the diversity of food also. So this is again one of the problem that is related with the climate change in terms of the food security. The other important aspect that we have to think about is the water demand and supply situation, not only across the globe, but also in Pakistan. We have been discussing from ages that the per capita water availability is declining, and from water abundant country to we are now at the situation that we have become a water scarce country. Climate change is adding to this adversity because over a period of time, water demand will increase. Why? Because the population is increasing, our per capita income is increasing, and the choice of the food is becoming is exhibiting in such a way that we have been more focused towards processed food, towards those foods which are using more water. अगर हम अपनी आज की if we see around ourselves in our communities, in our urban areas, we can judge it that with the passage of time, with the increase in the exposure, हमारी जो utilization है processed food की वो बढ़ती जा रही है. हमारी utilization उन तमाम फूड्स की बढ़ती जा रही है जिसमें हम पर कैपिटा, जिसके अंदर पर यूनिट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन के लिए ज्यादा पानी की जरूरत है. So it is expected that 20% more water for food production will be required by the year 2050. But on the other hand, the supply will decrease, and it is anticipated that the overall global water supply for the production of food will reduce by 40%. And in Pakistan, the Planning Commission says that the overall water gap between demand and supply would raise up to the 83 million acre feet by 2025, as per the Water Commission report. The food choice dilemma is very important. This is how our communities they are thinking towards their food choices. We have already discussed that the consumption of those foods which are consuming more water is increasing. Consumption of those foods is also increasing, which are adding more to the GHG emissions. If you see the pie graph, hello. So if you see the pie graph, the lower end of the pie shows that 48% of our GHG emission is due to the consumption of animal-based food, whether it is the meat or it is the dairy or cheese, but all these things, they are adding to the GHG emissions, as well as these diets, they use more water for the production. So we have to think over it when we are tailoring our strategies, our plans for the future. We have to think that how we are living and how this pattern of consumption can be changed. So what is happening in Pakistan? I already have much have been said on this aspect. I just want to draw your attention to the lower end graph. This is one of the study of the which I was part of that study. The historical mean temperature from 1980 to 2016 was around 23 Celsius. This is day and night temperature. While the study period, that was 2017, the mean temperature was 25 Celsius. So it shows how the thing, and by the way, this study was carried out in rice field zone of Pakistan. So we are experiencing severe droughts, glacier melts, change in weather patterns. The high temperatures are getting high, especially the night temperature, they are getting high. The heat wave durations, these have increased not only in the remote areas, but in the urban centers. And there is increased risk of sea intrusion in the coastal areas. What is all these climate change, how it is affecting agriculture? So we have, I'm not going into the details of just outlining the things that if we see the cropping pattern, the special patterns of the crops, they have changed. And these shift in the cropping pattern, the cropping boundaries, it itself has a lot of economic and social impacts on the farming livelihoods. We can very well see that to adjust the changing climatic pattern, we have to evolve such cotton varieties which can mature early. But during this process, we have to compromise on certain other aspects of the like the CLCV tolerance, or the similarly the evapotranspiration rates have been changed, so the net irrigation requirement of the crops have changed, and different studies, they are claiming that the net irrigation requirement, they have changed. They would be changed by 9 to 10% till the year 2050. This varying, this climate change has also affected the life patterns of the pests. So our IPM strategies became ineffective because the life patterns, life cycles of the insects have changed. So we have to adopt, we have to rethink these IPM strategies so that our expenditures, our practices, they would become effective again. Similarly, these situations have affected high fluctuation in crop productivity. We will discuss it and later on also. There is increased soil salinization due to the increased use of groundwater, and the salinity has now become apparent in almost all of the tail end areas of the irrigation system. Not only at the tail ends, but also now the head ends are also getting the effects of soil salinity. And the climate change has also induced change in the cropping patterns. So what is the farmer perspective? This is very important. And I'm thankful to one of my students who presented this idea in one of the poster competition. When we talk about the awareness level, yes, the awareness regarding climate change among the farming community is considerable. They know that things are changing. They know that the rain patterns, they are shifting, temperature, they are getting high, water requirements are becoming more. But the understanding of these phenomena is not clear to the farmers, because and I take the responsibility as a researcher, as an academician, that we fail to create the clear understanding of these phenomena among our communities. जब हम बात करते हैं फार्मर से कि जी योर क्रॉप्स नीड मोर वाटर, वो देयर रिस्पांस इन यस. एंड जब हम कहते हैं कि जी क्या आपके ख्याल में मौसम चेंज हो रहा है, उनका रिस्पांस होता है हाँ. लेकिन ये क्या आपके ख्याल में ये जो क्लाइमेट चेंज एक रियलिटी है, दे बिकम कंफ्यूज्ड. नहीं जी, ये तो पहले भी होता रहा था, ये अल्लाह दी मर्जी, ये हुन भी हो रहा है. सो there is a gap in creating understanding of these events among the community, that this is not the same phenomena that was happening in the past. The things have changed now. And if the things are changing, what is the capacity to adapt? It is still the big question, because the capacity to adapt among farming communities is very low, and this is due to many facts. Because the farm size is getting low and low. The resources they are getting meager. Problems, they are getting multiplied. So in the complex situation, the adaptation to the climate change is a question, because the adaptation capacity of the farmer is low. And if the we are still not thinking in terms of mitigation. So if the adaptation capacity is low, and the concept of mitigation among the rural communities is even further lower, so the resilience to the climate change is a big question to us. There is also in a recent study within the German institute, we also witnessed that farmers, they are taking these events, it's Allah ki marzi, so we can't do anything, because बारिश ज़्यादा हो गई, की करिए जी, अल्लाह दी मर्जी, गर्मी ज़्यादा पै गई, what we can do. So this is the fatalism which is prevailing among our farming community. So under this situation, what are the challenges for sustainable agriculture and food system, especially when we talk about the climate change, and especially when we talk about the future? The threats, they are becoming grave, as we have already discussed, that the adverse impacts on the climate on the crop yield, they are getting higher and higher. Even the uncertainty of the results among different climatic models, it is creating you can say that it is creating a confusion among the ultimate users, among the reception of the reception end of the research. You can see in this graph that the band of the uncertainty till the end of the century, it has been widened. So under this extreme uncertainty, how one can plan in a precision, this is a big question. Then there is also an issue in the climate smart approaches. We always think from the supply side. We fail to take care of the demand side of these approaches. We think in terms of the policymaker, we think in terms of the scientist, we think in terms of a practitioner, but who is at the receiving end? We very rarely involve the community in all these approaches. So we have to think on that because if we don't involve the community, all these policies, all these strategies, which are actually the mitigation is and the adaptation or the resilience, that is the coordinate. It needs coordinated effort. It is the community who is actually has to perform. But if we are only concentrating on the supply side approaches, then it would become difficult to make effective approaches. Then we are the scientists, the researchers. They're only doing research and science and the studies for the sake of research, for the sake of science. The term that, which especially when we talk about the climate change, the way we have portrayed all these scenarios, the GCM, the RCPs, it is even difficult for a very highly qualified person to understand all these scenarios. How we can make these things understand, make these things well understood at the farmer level, we have to think over it. Then obviously the climate related financing is low. There are many estimates that more than 40 trillion they are only required for developing countries if they need to make any considerable resilience, create considerable resilience among the community. But the community, the availability of finance is low. So similarly, we are putting extra pressure on our resources. By 2050, we need 80% more energy. We need 60% more water. We need 55% more food. And all these things, these are putting extra pressure on our resources. Thus, the sustainability of the system becomes a question. So we are confronted with the food and nutrition security challenges, rural livelihood and stable food chain challenges, as well as the environmental sustainability challenge. But what to do next? So we have to develop a system where we have to think on our choice of food, where we have to think on our the policies we are making, where we have to think how we can involve the communities, and then how we can think out of the box to make innovations. So first approach that has been recommended in many of the literature, significant part of one of the study that published in Nature, that shows that food losses, they are actually creating a big impact on the climate change. So we have to think how we can reduce our food loss. We can reduce the food loss by improving the technology. We can reduce food losses by innovative value addition. मैं देख रहा हूँ कि जी आज हमारे पास यहाँ पे माशाल्लाह एक बहुत बड़ी तादाद ख्वातीन की मौजूद है, तो उनसे जिसके एडवांस में अपॉलॉजी के साथ, क्या हम ये देख सकते हैं कि जी आज हमारे घरों में सब्जी और दाल कितनी ख्वातीन अच्छे तरीके से बना सकती हैं? तो हाउ वी कैन आस्क आवर चिल्ड्रन टू यूज
सामान जरा काम से काम ही हो जाए। हाँ, सामान के काम से काम होना चाहिए। अच्छा, ये जो पेपर शेप पर बड़े हुए हैं, तो नीचे बिल्डिंग सुपरवाइजर से भी वो था, बस पुराने पेपर हैं। हाँ, मैंने इससे पूछा कि वो कहता है ये पेपर नहीं खाता बिल्डिंग सुपरवाइजर। अच्छा,
there is some distraction, I think. If the participant can mute their mics, please. Thank you. So we have to think innovatively in terms of especially the value addition, in terms of our diversity in food, And then we have to strengthen the community institutions that can actually educate the our youth to use climate smart foods. So then we have to think of the demand side management also. Not only the production diversity, but the dietary diversity is also very important. That can help us in tailoring cost-effective approaches to address malnutrition, as well as to address the problem of the impact of to reduce the adverse impact of these food system chains on the climate change. We have to think beyond meat now, because world is now thinking beyond meat. We have already discussed that the meat and dairy based products, they are actually contributing almost half of the GHG gas emissions, as well as they are the most on the top of the table of those food products which are using more water. So now world is thinking on the plant-based analogous to the meat, Persian fermentation, and cultivated meat. Although we haven't experiencing these things in Pakistan, but in you can see the acceptability of these foods in different countries of the world. So this green part of the bar shows that people they are accepting these food as part of their food system, and so we have to think on these lines also, that how we can reduce the use of the meat and dairy products without impacting adversely our protein and calorie intake. So the plant-based meat, Persian fermentation, and cultivated meat, these are the three options which are being now exercised in the developed countries. And it is expected that the investment in these three avenues would cross any other investment in the food system by the year 2030. So we also have to take we have to think regarding these alternatives also. On the right side of your screen, and there are different. This is one of the graph I took from the climate smart profile of the Punjab. So you can see that there are different adaptation strategies for different crops, but unfortunately only 3 bars they are shown in green, that they are being adopted by the farmers at a significant level. All other bars, they are yellow or red. So all these adaptation strategies, their adaptation is low. So we have to think about our climate smart adaptation strategies innovatively. We have to think these adaptations as a system. Standalone adaptations won't work for us, because one, especially when we talk about the agriculture, it starts from the preparation, or even beyond the before the preparation of land, from from development of the markets, from the production, from the labor. So all these things, they are interconnected. So we have to think adaptation as a system. If we change one crop, we have to change the whole value chain and supply chain attached with that crop. So the standalone adaptation won't work. We have to think adaptation as a system approach. Then how can we involve stakeholders in the scientific research? This is a new concept, but it has been introduced in Pakistan in different research projects, in different research studies. Like ACIR is promoting a co-inquiry approach, and similarly, the representative agricultural pathways. So we have to think over that. We also have to take on board the religious sectors. We have to take on board the madrasas. We have to take on board the mosques because these are one of the factor which we have neglected in past. So I would stop here because all these things these will be discussed, and I would request beg your I will pardon for the rest of the